Danielle. On my way to work, wanted to record this real quick. So the reason that I shared that meme was thinking about the way that the progression of science and the increase of the human corpus of knowledge seems to have become such that all of the sort of low-hanging fruit have been picked. That in a sense, all the sorts of idle things a layman could plausibly ponder and then discover for himself under his own power, without the institutional power of academic science, has already been established and is settled fact, available with a Hey Siri for the most part, and when not, available with a Google Scholar search. To the extent that a layman can ponder something that hasn't yet been settled, it would seem that the way to settle it is through a mechanism that requires such an amount of resources as is only granted through academic grants. And so there becomes, it seems, this fundamental transformation in the way that scientific inquiry happens, and on the part of who does it. It becomes moved away from philosophers of science, or natural philosophers, not philosophers of science, natural philosophers, which have now become scientists. It's moved from philosophy to science because of this process that I'm pointing to. In some sense, a lot of inventions, back in the day, would seem to be so simple that anyone could come up with them. And obviously that's not truly the case. There's a lot of retrospective bias and failure to recognize the way we stand on the shoulders of giants and whatnot. But some of the smartest minds in the world at the time of the pre-Socratics were like, oh yes, everything's made of fire. So it's not like people were stupid. I don't believe that that's the case. I think that we just don't see the way in which our modern intelligence is born on the backs of modern education and the accumulation of knowledge. But it would seem that there is this sort of depersonalization in science, and this structural necessity of surrendering any sort of personal agency in what science there is to do to this sort of greater whole, where if you want to make a discovery, say in astronomy, you have to become an academic astronomer or astrophysicist, or there is this sort of cynicism that's I intuit has risen up among people, where they think, oh, I wonder, maybe it works like this, and then they kind of have this experience of no, it doesn't work like that, everybody knows that already. And in this culture, there is consequently this sort of, you can't, not only do you not know anything that science doesn't know, you can't know anything that science doesn't know. And I shared the post because I'm not sure what to think about that. I am open to a sort of progression of human evolution, of Terran evolution, such that maybe that is just how it is, and maybe there is this progression of humans from, peak organism on Earth to humanity as peak organism, and that academic science is, as the premier epistemological faculty on Earth, the brain of humanity, and is a sort of superior brain than any human brain. And of course, there's a sense in which, of course, this is true, but it presents this difficulty where it becomes difficult to get excited about discovery. There is this threat of this nihilistic pull, and I'm reminded of a meme that was popular 10 years ago. I was born too late to explore the Earth, born too early to explore the stars, born just in time to explore dank memes. And it's a sort of product, I think, of what I'm pointing to, of this humans want to explore, they want to discover, and it seems closed off to us now in a real way. And I'm curious if you think, or if anyone watching this thinks it is real. I'm open to that being the case and to that being real. But now, by no means do I think that this means that there is nothing left for individual humans to discover. There are no paradigm shifts left. I'm not so hubristic as the sort of early 20th century scientists, physicists, who I understand to have on some level thought that physics was just about wrapped up before special relativity or whatever kind of ended that idea. And of course, for those familiar with my own grandiosity, I think that there is a holism missing from modern science that I think does offer a place for individuals who are occupying this underappreciated generalist role that I think I naturally fit into and hope to capitalize on in my own work, though I am pretty pessimistic that I will succeed, not just statistically, but just because of my own lack of discipline and ADHD or whatever, and autism and whatever, for various difficulties that I have that make it difficult for me to fit into any sort of form that I believe may give me a chance for my ideas to sort of take off in the way that I think they would have to, for them to occupy this sort of role I'm envisioning. But nonetheless, I do think that somebody is going to come along and is going to tie together the sort of exoteric and esoteric. I think that somebody is going to produce a reconciliation of all that pulls us towards materialism and all that pulls us towards this mystical, experiential, non-dual, perennial shit that is pretty roundly dismissed as woo by the modern technician, I'll call them, instead of scientist, infatuated as they are with a fanciful idea of empiricism alone, which is in actuality incoherent in my view, but nonetheless we persist. It's a powerful approach, but incomplete. So I think a paradigm shift will come when somebody can open culture and move them from this pronouncedly empiricist paradigm to a more balanced empiricist and philosophical theoretical one. I don't know what else I have to say. I'll say I'm not too concerned. I know that there's a sort of skeptical edge to the meme wherein there's this sort of like wariness of like big science and how they're tricking us with this like for-profit science and all this stuff. I have a more charitable interpretation of the motivations of the body of individuals. I think that the structural incentives are deformed and in need of adjustment, but I think that they are sort of sins of the structural orientation. I don't think there are any like neoliberal Marxists out there trying to trick us all into anything. But and so the way that somebody wants to like p-hack their data to get it into the Journal of Nature is a problem, but it's not really the problem with which I'm concerned. It's what I've talked about so far, and I don't want to keep this video going on so long, so I think I'll just end it there. I think I've kind of gestured to what I want to. I appreciate you engaging in this video. I tried to write this out, and I just could not focus. Thank you.